And this actually would be a good example where it might behoove you to maybe do things like wait for L Tangonators. Can I get a W on the other side of this downtrend line? Notice how we're right here at the trend line. Can I get a pop-up through there? And then can I get a nice W to come in? So something along those lines, and I think we're good to go. Cripple actually came up on our screeners a while ago as a very attractive name. Cripple right now still rated a 5. Price is 52 cents. 52-week range, low at 29, high of 84. So you can see we're basically at the 50% level. So I don't think it's a really compelling idea, but you can see the weekly EMA has gone above the SMA, so it's positioned bullishly. You know, the backdrop is that we're coming off of the lows, I guess sort of, you know, this is what they call climbing the wall of worry. Yeah, so 52-week range, you can see, you know, even last May, we were lower. So April, right? So there's April, 52-week range. We're starting to come up into those 50% levels. So, you know, when it was down here and it was Wing out, I think it was a screaming buy. So it's moved up quite a bit. In fact, you can see I bought this weekly W way over here. I'm actually kind of just happy just to sit long here. I don't really see any huge need to like act right away. I don't know whether I'd really be comfortable being a buyer there. It's a bit expensive. Where would I expect sort of price objectives over the near term? I definitely, you know, this has Collins pump chaser zone, dump chaser zone written all over it. So there's 38.2 to 50%. That's all the way up to 90 to $1.12. We're basically probably right around $1. His monthly W is actually fired, right? You can actually see this on a monthly chart. Yeah, there it is. So that's fired. That's pretty darn bullish vote. Nothing's guaranteed in this business, but I'll tell you, if you got weekly and monthly W's behind you, gee whiz. I mean, hell, you could make the argument this was basically a monthly W down in here. Never broke those lows. We came down into these lows and turned back up. And that's kind of why I don't really like the idea of buying this right here. Not the best trade location. So you can see bought a position and I'm willing to add to the position at 78.6s. So if we go back to that daily chart, you can see there's 78.6 off of this range. So I'm willing to step in down here. Looks like that says 34.5. Probably when this was like there kind of idea, or maybe even there. Yeah, 34.5. Interestingly enough, this is a really good anecdote that, you know, this high, notice where the reload zone is. Basically, it's clustered against these lows. And then this high, notice where the reload zone is. Basically, it's clustered against these lows. Did you notice the similarity? If I'm going to add to the trade, I want to see some sort of pullback down against these lows. And that's the kind of image that I think we see through the summer and maybe through the fall, you know, through this Sam Bankman-Fried trials. You know, is he convicted of fraud and money laundering? And the whole space is painted with just an absolutely horrible, you know, tarred and feathered kind of thing. If we do get a rally up into this area, 4.669, I suppose, off of this massive W, and maybe even all the way up to 2.618s there, then I'll be selling half of this position on a double. But actually what I would prefer is just to just come back down here and spend the next 6 months or so just cleaning this thing up and just confirming that this thing really is a base. And then, whoo-wee, because they always say, right, the longer the channel, the bigger the run. In a weird sort of way, you don't really want to see just straight down, straight back up. What I would prefer to see if I'm a bull is straight down and then just sideways forever. And then when you do break out, woo-wee, that can be just huge. I mean, you can see where I'm long. I'm more than happy to add to the trade on dips against the lows. If we look at the indicators, there's just nothing here to get too excited about. Actually, a bit of a div coming in here that set up the buy off of these lows. Willie never did get stupid. I guess Willie was stupid over here. I think this is actually the reason why. Was stupid over here. Actually, that's where I originally bought off of that W. I suppose if you're like, well, Brian, I joined you and I don't really want to take a loss, so I'm going to take 20, 25, 30% gains. Okay. I mean, try and follow your plan. Whatever your plan tells you to do. I would be remiss if if I said for you to break your plan, my plan in this particular thing is I see a lot of upside all the way up into this area. So I'm happy to accumulate here and just be patient and wait for this retest to be selling doubles and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not really in any hurry here whatsoever. Having said that, in the short term, you can see we have actually a divergence now in volume. So that's a little bit concerning. We don't really have price divergence yet, so that's good. And Willie never did technically get stupid here. So we're not really overbought. We could still push our way higher. Right now, coming in and buying that right there, at best, at the absolute best, this would be sort of your bot setups, right? So actually, this is a good example of one. Ideally, you want to see this low at least 33% retracement. So if I go off of even this low right here, what I want to be asking is, do I have at least a 33% retracement? I do, so that works. This is a pretty recent swing low, so I kind of like that. To the person asking, where and how would you draw the ABCDs? Well, that's a pretty significant swing low there. So we did do 33%. So if you wanted to trade this, keep in mind, no guarantees. This thing might crap out and you better get the hell out if it breaks down. So something like that. You can see the 25 level is trying to set up. And this actually would be a good example where it might behoove you to maybe do things like wait for L Tango Naders. So can I get a W on the other side of this downtrend line? Notice how we're right here at the trend line. So can I get a pop up through there? And then can I get a nice W to come in? So something along those lines, and I think we're good to go. If you could get that W to set up off of this level here, this almost looks like an inverted head and shoulders, eh? So you get shoulder, head, neckline, shoulder. So if I can get any kind of bullish structure down in here to get long off of that neckline, I'm front running the bot, so I get a nice little cushion there. And my upside objective, 71 cents. And interestingly enough, I'm long from this 40-cent area. So what I really want to see, interesting too, how actually this is really interesting because notice 2.618 was hit here. So if we do resolve bullishly here, that's a good sign. It means we should go up to 4669. And then this might be a really good example where maybe you don't sell all of your position at that 100%, maybe spoon feed. And, in the level 1 program, we talk about, actually it's a level 3 program, beg your pardon, multiple selling orders. You might want to sprinkle some offers, right? Maybe sell like a third of the position here, have a third open order working here, a third open order here. And then, of course, if you get any big fat M's and you're just like, oh man, I want to get the hell out of here, you can always just blow the rest out. But you never know. Maybe you get some sort of crazy ass spike straight up and straight down. So ding, you get filled, ding, you get filled, ding, you get filled, and you look like a genius. Hopefully that gives you a pretty good idea of what I'm thinking about with regard to Cripple. It's not a bad looking, if you are a trader and you're like, you know what, this is a really good example for me to cut my teeth on, go and buy like $1 worth of this and just see how the bot setup has you feeling. I do like the idea that it's probably in our best interest to, this is what we call our LJ setup. We want to see a W on the other side of this trend line. I mean, it looks nice, don't get me wrong, but just give me a nice W here. You see where the bot entry level is here, so we got lots of wiggle room, and you can see how there's a potential inverted head and shoulders. Although this shoulder is lower than that shoulder, so I don't know whether I'd really like that. This almost looks like an Adam and an Eve, or maybe even Adam and Steve, maybe. There's my 2 cents. Through 54, and you probably have a nice continuation trade heading higher. Indicators, if you want to throw this into the mix, and you need more sort of validation, confirmation that the idea is legit, I don't really see a dearth of buying. We would like to see higher lows and higher highs. Remember we talked about that Bitcoin volume pattern? How that was a bit suspicious. Same sort of thing here. Everybody's just falling asleep. We want to see the green buying bars start to wake up and make higher lows. As well, we have a bit of a double top here in momentum. So you can see if we go through this low, which it looks like we have, yep, I think short-term momentum has actually broken down. I don't think there's a huge hurry. As well, we're not really getting anything out of RSI. It's interesting how Sjord, he really likes to trade RSI and Bollinger Bands. Notice the compression of energy. So clearly price is consolidating and energy is compressing, and when that releases itself either up or potentially down. It's gonna be some fireworks, but we don't really have anything to do here just yet. And if you're a bull and you want to get yourself ready, you can see the energy compressing here. And you get a nice big W in here. Man, I think you got actually a half decent idea.